Does your feet get cold when you use slippers?
I don't use slippers.
Oh, you should. My feet get cold when I use slippers. Like even if I
Like,
have socks on, my feet get
I
cold.
rarely wear socks.
Really?
I don't like my feet feeling constricted. Like
can
when
respect that.
I go to bed, I always take them off. Like even when it's cold, I take my socks off.
Well, when I go to bed, yeah, that's like a given.
Yeah.
Because then you wake up in the morning and your feet are like constricted because there's like marks around your feet.
Oh, Brooke puts on like 2 pairs of socks before she goes to bed.
Oh, really?
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's kind of a freak though. I don't know if she heard that. Okay, she did.
I heard that.
I don't take it back.
I have to get this link real quick. Yeah, I wear 2 pairs of socks when I go out when it's like the winter because it's so cold.
Well, that makes sense.
I got the pleasure. Okay, so today we had our internet down for the whole day, and I was there in the morning, so I got to do a little bit of work before it shut down. And we had one person bring in an Oreo cake, so we kind of just like left our workstation to go eat cake in the morning at like 10 a.m.
Nice.
And then we just screwed around for an hour. I was about to take off, and they're like, "Oh, but we're ordering Chinese food." I'm like, "Oh, well, okay, I'll stay for that."
Did you like sleep after all of that?
No, I immediately just left the place. I was like, all right, we're done eating. Bye. I have to go home and do work now.
Dine and dash. Give me like 30 seconds.
Sure.
I forgot I need to refill my drink. Sorry.
All right.
I went to reach for it and there was nothing in it.
Oh.
It's the most depressing feeling ever.
Yeah, it is. Can't be having that.
Lukewarm tea. Didn't have time to reheat it.
Not too cold, not too warm. Just right.
I mean, it's actually just cold, but
Oh, well, that's...
it's not like from the fridge. It's just like, you know, I had the pot heated up like 2 hours ago, and then it's just been sitting there, so it's room temperature.
Okay. That's done. That's done. I'm gonna take my shot real quick. So one of the guys at work, he's actually new to Canada. He's only been in China like his whole life, and he moved here like 6 months ago. And he's never had like any of the like the drinks that we have here, like the alcoholic drinks. So he's like, I've never been to an LCBO. I don't know what this is. And I'm like, and I told him, you should probably try some tequila. It's really good. And so I said I'd bring in a bottle for him next week because I just have like a bottle in my fridge that I don't really drink all that often. So I figured I'd just give it to him if he wants it.
So he's never had tequila, like at all?
No, never.
Crazy.
Weird.
That's bitter. Water chaser.
I just put the alcohol in my tea so I can drink it all together.
Yeah, that's really the real thing. Like that's real alcoholic drinks to me is mixed stuff so you don't taste it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hello everyone, welcome to the Charge Shot Gamescast. Each every week, best friends gather around and talk about the games they've been playing and some bullshit that's going on in their lives.
I like the new intro.
Today is Kiss the Ginger Day, so let's go give Justin a big old sloppy kiss.
Right here, and right here.
Whoa. It's a little salty down there.
Penis. I did kiss my ginger cat today, though, so there's that.
That's nice.
Yeah, he earned it. He's a good boy.
And we've also got not a ginger, Lo.
Hi, I'm not a ginger, sorry.
But still worthy of kisses.
Thanks.
Justin, what's been going on in your life lately?
I honestly don't remember. Like, this week's been kind of a blur.
Yeah.
We had like a wave of bad weather that kind of swooped through. It was like 50 degrees at the beginning of the week, and then last night, or I guess yesterday, we left work early because they were talking about like freezing rain coming in.
Yep.
Like around the afternoon time, and so we didn't want to get stuck in that going home from work. So we left at lunchtime, and then like it did a little bit in the evening, and then by morning it was fine again, and we could go to work just like normal. But like the point behind all of that is that my mind has been a little foggy. As far as like game stuff, actually I haven't played a lot. I got back into some Mario Odyssey last night because I just wanted to relax and do nothing. Because like I said, I didn't know if we were going to be going to work today, like with all the weather hitting. So I was like, I'm just going to play a game. I don't feel like going back to my computer or anything. So I did a little bit of just like moon grinding, and that it's a little hard to get back into. Like, I love that game, but after you do the initial grind, like I feel like they kind of did a disservice having the game end before the really good stuff starts. Basically, you can beat the game with like 80 moons or something, and there's like literally 999 in the game. Like, there's actually more than that, but the number caps out at 999. You can buy them so you can get, you know, however many more you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can beat the game with like 80 moons. And then after that, it basically opens up all of these new moons in every planet or kingdom, I guess. Because like the tourism circuit has kind of started, so like you go back and you find like all of the different creatures in each other's planets.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah, it is. And like that's the coolest part of the game. But because you've already beaten it, it's like the only incentive to go back and do them is just the joy of getting them, which is fun.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I'll go through and I'm like, I don't really feel like getting that one, so I'll just skip it. It's like I go through and kind of like selectively, like, you know, clean up some of them on each kingdom and then move on. Like, there's not really any incentive to get them all, you know. So yeah, I've been kind of just going back every now and then when I feel like it, but nothing too crazy. Played some GTA Online with you boys. It was a lot of fun. We'll have some of that stuff out in the near future. We're doing a series on that. That was a big part of my gaming week, actually, was the GTA Online stuff.
That was fun, though.
It was.
Yeah.
It really was. Let's see. Is that it? I've been so caught up with getting Final Fantasy IX ready for this weekend.
Ah, yes.
Pretty much all my extra time has been that. And then also prepping for a D&D group that's starting next week. So I guess quick plug or whatever for life stuff. I'm going to be part of a D&D group for those that care about tabletop gaming. I created a Reddit thread just asking, like, you know, who wants to be in a group or whatever. And there was a guy that said, like, oh, I've got, you know, a few people already. If you want to join us, we need one more. And I'm like, that's convenient. All my work's done. So like, I want to eventually GM a game. But for now, you know, it's like it's a good group to get in with, so we can kind of alternate, you know, like he do a few sessions, we do a full adventure, and then like when that adventure finishes, you know, I could possibly do one, and then they like create new characters with my game and like, you know, kind of jump around between it. But in the meantime, you know, good group of people. I didn't know any of them going in, so it's kind of cool to be with like a new, you know, like a new audience possibly. He's gonna stream one of the guys called the Majestic. That's his handle. He's gonna stream the games every week, so that should be a lot of fun.
Cool.
I'll report back after we do the first session on Monday. But we just had kind of a little like, you know, learn the world and get to know each other a little bit tonight before we started the podcast, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. Cool. But yeah, a lot of my week has just been prepping for Final Fantasy IX, because that's pretty big. And I decided randomly to do 2 episodes instead of 1, so I was like, well, gotta get 2 ready. They were mostly ready anyway. That's why I figured I could do 2. But But yeah, it was more prep work as far as like uploading them and putting the cast list down because it's like 15 people per episode than I expected it to be originally. Yeah, I guess that's it. If you want to move on, I think that's all.
All right, Lo, what have you been up to?
I haven't been playing too much this week. Let's see, Orcs Must Die 2. Played a couple of rounds of that because I was bored. Oh, I also played some Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Just went and grinding some PQs. One of my buddies just got a copy, so I was helping him level up. Other than that, last night, I actually played a little bit of Lost Planet 2 because it never actually worked on my computer before. Hear me out. I know you're making a weird face, but it never worked on my computer before. And I always wanted to try it on PC because I was like, I always liked it. I like playing it on Xbox, so I imagine it'd be better on PC, but never worked for some reason. It was some weird thing with games for Windows Live or whatever. And so I just decided to install it again last night, and then it worked. And I played it for a couple of hours, and it's pretty cool. So, and also I was trying out this thing my buddy showed me. It's called Reshade. So what it does, it kind of like you can select a game, and then what it does is it basically it injects like post-processing effects into like your game. Like, so it's pretty cool. So like I was playing it like in HDR and some enhanced anti-aliasing or some crap like that. It was just something cool to mess around with. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Mine's a short list this week.
Real quick, not to interrupt before Thomas goes, but just something I forgot I wanted to talk about this week. Have you seen, like, specifically Lo, have you seen the new like NVIDIA processing stuff they have on their new chips?
I have, yeah. I saw that in the CES link
filters and stuff.
shared.
Yeah. I don't know how.
I'm curious to try that out.
Because like basically, for those that don't know, it's like it's essentially like kind of a like filters for your games. So kind of like an Instagram thing where you can like swipe over and see all the different things, like sepia tone, black and white, that kind of stuff. But there's like also some really crazy ones like neon, where it just like makes all of your stuff like outlined and like neon lights, and like everything else is dark, and it's just like a lot of them are just dumb little things that really have no purpose except to be gimmicks. And it's like, haha, look at this, like streaming it like that. Like, I see them doing like NVIDIA shader runs of games or something, like doing the most like minimalist filter they can and trying to run through the game like that. Cuphead would probably be when you do that, like a black and white Cuphead match or something.
This sounds a lot like this reshade thing that I'm talking about, only NVIDIA.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And it's interesting because one of the shaders in that reshade thing was actually a CRT filter, and it actually was pretty convincing. It looked pretty cool. It made everything like hard to see, so it was totally not like playable really at all. But it was a neat.
And that's what's kind of silly about them. But yeah, the thing that bothered me with it is like they just kind of show this off as like a look at our new features thing, which is just dumb. Like they're showing off all the dumb stuff, but then hidden within it is some colorblind moding stuff. It's like a lot of games will have colorblind mode built in, like now, but they didn't always. And so this is basically like through your graphics card, you can like set the game into colorblind mode, and that's actually super useful as from a handicap standpoint that a lot of people would want to use. But that's not being advertised really. It's being lost inside of this like stupid color filter gimmick. And so I feel like people are making fun of this thing when it could actually be really beneficial and be something that someone could talk about positively. And I just wonder why they do this. It's like, don't focus on the stupid gimmick part of it. Focus on like the social aspect of it.
Exactly.
So they're just marketing it all wrong. And it kind of bothers me because it's something that actually is really useful to a small group of people. But they're not talking about
that's one thing. That's one thing I never really cared much for as far as NVIDIA goes, is just how they choose to do their marketing and what they choose to market and how they choose to market it. Sometimes I just like, I'll be, that's not how I would have done it, but whatever.
Yeah. I just wanted to get that out there for colorblind people. It's a good thing to know about. But sorry, Thomas, I'll stop derailing.
All right. I don't know. I'm a little out of it today.
Do more shots.
Yeah, do more shots. I'll help.
Shots.
Everybody. So yeah, last week I had an incredibly sore back. I was complaining about it a lot. Took drugs. Took a shot of tequila. That went really well. So I went and got a massage actually at a place called Massage Addict. They're like a franchise place, and I don't know if I'll ever go back for another massage again. It's like a really weird experience. You guys ever gone to like a massage place before?
Nope.
Several.
All right, so let me see if this like correlates with your experience. So I walked into the massage parlor, filled up my sheet, all that kind of stuff, and I meet this lady. She's like an old lady. She's got kids. She's telling me about her kids, and they put you in like a really small, dark room with minimal lighting, and they also play really weird, like it's supposed to be relaxation music. And and the only thing I can think of is that this music just sounds like cult music, like you know in the movies when they play like weird cult music when they're sacrificing someone on an altar. It's like that kind of stuff.
Oh yes, I know that kind of music well. I sacrifice plenty of people. That's the reference you make?
That's what it feels like to me.
All right.
You know, movies. You watch movies.
Yeah, movies.
Right. And so, like, the massage actually went pretty well. Like, it felt fine. Put the body oil on. Feels all good. But at the end of it, like, I think there's like supposed to be like some kind of relaxation zone that you're supposed to be in at the end of it. And what they do for that is they just cover my eyes with their hands. And so it's like my eyes are open because like I'm fucking terrified. And so her hands are just like laying on my eyes like this or whatever. And then she like covers my ears and like she like grabs my face and stuff. Like I'm like, I feel like I'm just gonna get murdered here. Like I don't understand what's happening. Is this how things happen when you take a massage though?
It's like you leave and you're super stressed and tense.
Yes.
That's not how it's supposed to go.
No, it's not. Okay, good. God, because like I felt like I was going to die. Like they were gonna kill me or something. Like I'm never gonna go for a massage.
I'm sorry you had a bad first time.
Yeah, they gave me like the introductory price, which was like $65 or something. Like a normal price is $90 for a massage.
Oh wow.
For this place. Yeah, it's stupid. So that was my massage experience. So don't ever get a massage. It sucks.
I always get massages. I never get one.
Yeah.
Same here.
Sucks to be good with your hands.
I know, right?
The curse.
So yeah, I caught a massage. Other than that, playing Super Mario Odyssey. I've actually been enjoying the post-game stuff.
I mean, I enjoy it.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I find it to be a different experience than I guess you, because you're saying like.
I'm just basically saying I get the moons I want to get, like that I find fun, and then like if I find them to be slightly annoying, I just move on. Like I don't care to get them.
If I want a challenge, I'll do the challenge ones, but other than that, I'll just move on. Like it's not, and that's what I like about it is that it's just like a fun experience. You can just jump in and like play around for a little bit and get satisfaction from it.
Yeah, but like specifically, like let's say like Mario Galaxy, for example. In that game, like you can beat the game, you know, still without getting all the stars or whatever. But if you get all of them as Mario, you can actually go back through the game as Luigi, and like there's like basically it's the same game, but you're playing with Luigi physics instead, and so then you can get them all again with Luigi, and you basically unlock a new like section of the galaxy that's like these super hard challenges, like just like I think it's like 2 stars you can get there, and so basically 100% of that like 100% completion of that game is like 122 stars or something like that. So you get like 110. I might be wrong on the numbers, but you get like 110 as Mario, and then 110 as Luigi, and then it opens up that last galaxy with 2 stars. And so like there's actually incentive to get them all because like you unlock something for getting them all. As far as I know, there's nothing like that in Odyssey. So it's like literally your enjoyment of getting them is the reward for getting them.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's more incentive to try harder. Like if I get annoyed at something, I just stop. Like I'm not going to do the darker side of the moon because I hate the darker side of the moon. I would if there was a reward for completing it. Like I would keep trying, but it's not worth the hassle to me.
Yeah, I think it's just
things like that.
I think we're just different in our opinions because I like the enjoyment of getting the moon is enough for me. Like I just like getting them. I don't need a reward for it. Also, there's like different songs that you like. There's a lot of like stuff that you can collect, like music you can collect. I was looking everywhere for that, that Mario Cafe music. And I finally found it, and it felt like that was an accomplishment in of itself because I could just listen to the song over and over.
You can just go to the cafe and listen to the song too.
It's on top of the building. It wasn't in a cafe.
No, I'm saying like that's the song, that's the music that plays in the cafe, right?
So I can't find the cafe. I can't find the cafe. I've looked everywhere, all over. I couldn't find it.
I think it's the new Donk place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I found it on top of a building, and then I got it. So like, I don't know. It was weird. I can't find the cafe. So yeah, played that. I also played Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I finally finished that game. I don't know if it was
worth finishing.
I was gonna say I don't think it's worth finishing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I liked it when I played it, but I don't know if I want to go back to it. You know, it's been too long.
How many sequences do you have left?
I don't know. I wasn't very far.
Okay.
Like I got it for I think Christmas or something, like 2 or 3 years ago. And then like I was deep into it, then some other game came out, I dropped it for a while, and like I tried to go back and I'm like, I don't remember where I left off.
If you're still enjoying Watch Dogs, just keep playing Watch Dogs, I guess. But like I don't think it's worth finishing. The ending sequence is pretty cool. They actually flash forward into like the real world, and they kind of like advance plot then. But the actual
care about the modern day stuff, which I don't.
I really do. I love the modern day stuff. Yeah.
I've heard there's some really good modern day stuff in Origins, but
I hope so. I heard.
I want to check that one out when it gets cheaper.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I'm decided. I didn't care at first, but people have been actually putting it on like Game of the Year lists and stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should care.
I'm surprised.
I would always pick it up just because I'm a fan of that series. Even though like there's a lot of less than stellar entrances, but I still enjoy Assassin's Creed. But I think this one was a little more. Once you get that point in your mind where you're like, all right, I'm just gonna beeline to the end. It's kind of you kind of find all the other stuff that you're doing kind of rote. Like you don't want to clear out the town and like take it back over. Like you don't want to do the gang hideouts and all that kind of stuff. You kind of
that stuff is never fun.
It's when you get stronger, it is. But like once you do it like 10 times, it's like you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
It
was fun in Black Flag. That was the last time like the side missions were fun because it was all like collectibles and like ship battles and stuff like that. It wasn't so much just like the same missions on land over and over again.
Yeah. Like I would find myself just if I was doing them on the side, like the takeover missions, I was just running in there and just stabbing the dude and running away. Like I wasn't trying to do the secondary objective or trying to be stealthy. I was just like, fuck this guy, and then I'm out. I do find that it was kind of interesting that they had it as like you could actually set up real assassinations. Like there's different objectives within the game for like the assassination of the target. So like if I kidnapped like a prison guard or something, he would take me straight up to the person you're trying to assassinate, and then you would just stab him in the throat and be like, "Screw you, bitch."
Howdy 2000.
Yeah, so there's stuff like that was kind of fun. I'm kind of interested to see what they do with Origins. Other than that, what else have I been up to? Because those are the two that I've really been focusing on. Might go back into Dishonored 2. I started that up earlier today. I've been playing some Zelda again on the Switch, and it's really tiring to try and get back to where you were in like in my previous game on the Wii U. Like I'm just not enjoying replaying the game again.
I had that sense when I first played through the game. I was like, man, this is so cool, like the sense of discovery and stuff. And then about 50 hours in, I'm like, I'm not sure I would ever enjoy playing this game again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I love the game. Like it's easily my game of the year. But as far as like replayability and stuff, like Zelda games have always thrived on like, you know, playing through them and then like remembering it all and like going back to it. Like I could play Majora's Mask all the way through and then finish it and be like, I kind of want to start that over.
Yeah.
With this game, it's like even just going back to the DLC, which kind of feels like its own little mini game inside of the game. I'm like, I don't know. This is more of the same. Like I love this sandbox, but I don't really love the stuff you have to do in it. So I definitely get like not being able to get back into it on a new file.
The temples, I haven't tried to do the temples again, but I can't imagine wanting to do the temples again. Like it's a neat gimmick the first time you do it, but it's kind of like I remember glitching my way through half of those temples.
It's part of the novelty of that game, though.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that. Rain still sucks in that game. It's awful.
All they have to do is introduce some kind of like new suit that lets you like climb when it's raining.
Sticky hands.
Yeah, that's it. Like they just put in a DLC costume that's like a rain suit or something.
Or you're a frog.
Or yeah, like a Spider-Man frog suit, sure, whatever, something. It could look dumb. People would still put it on just to go up mountains and then take it off and go back to what they're wearing. Yeah. That's all you have to do. Easy fix.
Yep. So
I don't know.
I'm playing that.
My brother texted me the other night that he beat the DLC. Apparently, he still loves that game. So good for him. Whatever.
I find it's a pain in the ass that you can't call your horse whenever you want. Like if you're too far away, the horse won't hear you, and then you have to go and run all the way back to a stable or where the horse is. I heard Ben said that if you can call the motorcycle up at any time, which that's like tempting me to get the DLC just to get the motorcycle.
Yeah, but the motorcycle does use fuel.
Oh, how do you get?
You can basically like load any junk up into it to refill it, but it does use fuel and it runs out.
It sounds like it's worth it though, just if I can call it back at any time.
Oh yeah,
because there's lots of times in that game where you're just running around, and then you only use it when you want to travel like large distances, which the game is huge, so you're gonna use it. But
also you can't do the DLC until you've beaten all 4 divine beasts. So there's not much to do with the motorcycle once you get it.
God damn it!
Yeah. I cannot wait for the next Zelda game.
Yeah.
For it to build off of this engine. But man, there's a lot of goofy things in Breath of the Wild.
All right. Yeah, that's it. I'm good. I'm done. Let me just load up this article real quick. That's not the one.
Yeah. I'll do that.
That's not the one.
I wasn't sure if we're actually going to talk about it.
Yeah, why not? Crazy. This has ties to Canada, so we must talk about this.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, there's been a phenomenon out there with streamers. I think we might have talked about it on the podcast before. I'm not entirely sure. But people out there that might know what swatting is. Swatting is when you're calling in a SWAT team to take out your the person that you're watching streaming, like barge into their homes and try to arrest them. And it's like a prank. It's like an internet prank that people do. And I've kind of thought this was like over and done with. Like when I first heard about it, it was probably like 5-6 years ago. And I've heard about like that happened, and I was like, oh, okay, well, no one's doing it anymore. That's passe. That's old school. But no, it still happens, and it's awful. It actually has led to the death of one of the people here. What's his name?
I don't know if it has the name.
Yeah, this is a pretty short article.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Andrew Finch.
Andrew Finch. So yeah,
it doesn't give like his Twitch name or anything, because that's because he's a person and not just a Twitch personality.
Yes.
Right.
So unfortunately, he is left to the death of Andrew Finch, and they were actually able to catch the guy that called in the event, or who did the prank. His name is Tyler Barris. Stands accused of placing a call leading to the death of an innocent man at the hands of the police. Barris has been formally charged with involuntary manslaughter for his part in the death. If convicted, Barris could face a maximum sentence of 34 months behind bars and maximum fines of $300,000. Barris called...
Which let's just point out that for involuntary manslaughter, 34 months is not a huge sentence. Like, he led to a person's death, and he's getting less than 3 years in jail. Yeah. There's people that are in jail longer than that for having weed.
Is there?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In America, there is. This country sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Brooke was legit saying we should move to Canada the other day because she was dealing with some healthcare issues.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, this is not like this in any other country. Let's just go back to Ireland or Canada or something.
Mm.
Yeah. The only thing you'll have to deal with is higher taxes, but, you know, you get healthcare.
And the cold.
And the cold.
It's really cold.
It gets cold. But, like, it was like... The weather today was weird. I don't want to derail this serious topic, but I guess I'm going to anyways. I'm sorry.
We'll get back to it.
But, yeah, it was really weird weather today. Like, it went from, like, 11 degrees Celsius to, like, -5, -10. Hard swings like that in January is weird.
We've been getting that all week.
Yeah.
12 in the morning, in the afternoon. It's random.
I mean, we probably have about the same weather.
Yeah, just a warmer shift of it. But anyway, serious topic.
Serious topic.
So the issue with this story isn't... I mean, yes, it's an issue that he swatted some guy and he died. Like, that's a big deal. Yes. And I'm glad he's being punished, although I think he should be punished longer. The problem with this is it says here that this isn't the first time he's called a SWAT. There was an incident in Canada where no one was injured. Basically, they said, well, not this specific one, but also they said, like, in 2014, there was specifically 60 officers that descended on a home in New York after responding to a false call where the caller told police that the guy had killed his mother and could possibly kill more people. No one was hurt in that situation. There was 60 officers, but no one was hurt in that situation. This guy specifically was also called to a call in Canada, and no one was injured. This one that happened in Kansas, the guy was shot on sight when he opened the door. The reason this is a problem is because Tyler Barris, obviously the caller in this situation, who deserves to get involuntary manslaughter, is the only one being punished in this situation. Right. The SWAT team that descended on this house and shot someone when they opened the door is getting off scot-free, as far as I know. And I feel like the person that pulls the trigger should also be punished accordingly. Because, yes, they were responding to a call, but this is the only case of a swatting situation where someone died. And that's a big deal. Like, everyone's saying, like, oh, maybe this will be a sign that you shouldn't call swatters. Well, like, yes, it should be a sign that you shouldn't swat people. Like, that's stupid. Stop doing it. But there's more to it than that. It's also a sign that maybe they shouldn't be so trigger happy when they do these calls. There's no reason to ever shoot someone on sight when they open the door to their own home. You don't need to be that prepared to kill someone.
Yeah.
Ever. And so, like, I realize this is a, fun, goofy gaming podcast, whatever, but, like, this is a gaming topic, and it's important to realize these issues when you're talking about a gaming issue. This article basically just states the facts, and I know it's not supposed to be an editorial or anything, but basically all it states is, the person that called the SWAT is being sentenced to jail for less than 3 years, and, that it was someone that was killed over a swatting. That's all it says. It feels like there should be more accountability than this on both sides. Hopefully this is the end of swatting, but also there needs to be a discussion about the law enforcement that arrives on these scenes. Because if it was a legitimate situation, even then there should be some more diplomacy taken into this matter. I mean, what if there were hostages? Like, I think in this situation, it said it was a hostage situation. As far as I know, the way you're supposed to handle hostage situations is to not shoot immediately,
right?
Because there's hostages,
Gather
there's
intelligence,
innocents
maybe.
on site. Yeah, so you're supposed to deal with diplomacy in hostage situations, but no, they just shoot the person that answered the door. What if he had sent a hostage up there? You know, if this was a real situation, if he sent a hostage to open the door, innocent person killed. This would be an entirely different discussion.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's about swatting, they have a scapegoat, and that they can blame the swatter and not the person that did the shooting. But this kind of thing just bugs the crap out of me. I don't know. I have a whole issue with, you know, law enforcement stuff in general, but that's not for this discussion. I just wanted to point out that this is a problem and needs to be dealt with.
So the officer
on more sides than just this.
So the officer who shot Finch, he says here, I'm reading an ESPN article now. It says he was a 7.5-year veteran of the force and is on paid leave pending the investigation. So
that's generally how it goes, I believe. When somebody gets shot in like a SWAT situation, they're immediately like under investigation to see whether it was a good kill or not.
But paid leave?
Yeah. That part bugs me.
And I'm not saying that I didn't mean to say that he got off scot-free. I'm just saying that hasn't been in the discussions.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in most articles even before this I had seen, all of the blame was being put on the person that made the call, not the person who shot the weapon. I'm glad there is an investigation happening. That's good to hear. But who knows? It's probably not going to happen. None of these other situations have happened. There's been literal like drug plants caught on cop cameras, whatever those things are called, body cameras.
Yeah,
and they still get off on it. So now that this is actually like related to us, it's an opportunity to talk about that. But I don't want to get too in the weeds of it, of course. But yeah, it's just there needs to be a bigger discussion here, and it's upsetting.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I don't have I don't have an opposing opinion or anything. I agree with everything what you say, because
I
don't know. He's like 7 years on the force, but like, come on, man. Like, what are they training you to? Like, what's your training like when you just open the door and shoot someone?
Right.
I don't get it.
On top of that, like, I mean, like, this is probably a really poor example because I'm about to use video games as an example, but I mean, like, there's some like truth to like all the stuff that they have access to as it being as far as being able to gather intelligence as far as like a situation, you know, like why didn't that happen? Why, like, what happened before they came up to the door and shot the person that opened the door? Like, why wasn't there anything further? There should have been like some sort of plan or something at least, you know, like it baffles my mind. It really does.
Yeah. You don't kill people this quickly in Hitman, a game about killing people.
Yeah.
Like, life should imitate art a little more often. And I don't mean like in a bad way. Like, of course this was a, you know, Call of Duty stream. Like, I don't mean more like Call of Duty. I mean I don't know.
Rainbow Six or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, the SWAT team should be held to a higher caliber than the people making this call and being, you know, punished. Like, let's compare like a little under 3 years in jail to paid leave and an investigation. Like, there should be a bit more, you know, lenient, like a bit more balancing of the scale there.
Yeah.
Just because you have a uniform and carry a gun for your job doesn't mean you get off on, you know, like you get off when you kill people. That's not. I don't mean get off in a sexual way. I mean, like, get off, you know, without consequence. Just so we're clear.
Gotta be clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had something I wanted to say, but then I forgot it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. It's not really much else to say other than that, because it's. Yeah, usually cops like try to look after their own, so that's probably like that's usually why they get off. And they're supposed to be like internal affairs, but usually cops look after themselves, and they don't look after like the actual situation that's happened. Yeah. That's what I wanted to say.
I just hope that I just hope that more like, I guess like, care and preparation or investigation goes into these calls in the future, because I mean the whole point of the SWAT team is going in with a plan. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like so just to like see things and hear things like this happening, it's like, well, what? Like, it's just like these are the people that are supposed to be protecting us, you know? So
Yeah, I always thought of SWAT teams as like elite forces of like the police department. Like I don't think of them as like beat cops, like kicking down doors and shooting people. Like usually they have like a mirror or something, or they look through the windows, or like, I don't know. Yeah. So hopefully this is like an end to swatting. I sincerely doubt it though. I feel like this is still going to happen. Just because,
if anything, it'll happen more, because if you really hate someone, it's like, maybe the SWAT will kill them. Like that, I mean, that's a terrible, terrible thing to even think about.
But I'm sure somebody out there has had it already.
Right, there are some really awful people out there, and if they know that this is a possibility, it's going to make them more likely to do it. That's why we need to cut it off at the source. You know, like the people that actually respond to these calls need to handle it better, because I don't think that the people making the calls will change.
I wonder, because like I imagine the police get crank calls all the time about this kind of stuff, and I wonder what it is that makes them like think a call is like legit or not. Like, is there a way that they can screen calls or not?
I don't know. I'd assume they have to respond.
Yeah, that's
like in this case where there was 60 officers that descended on a home.
Yeah.
Like, that's, how do you even know? Like, send everyone we've got. That's insane.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, someone's robbing a bank.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I live in a college town, and I see the cops pulling over everyone unnecessarily.
Man.
I got pulled over at like 1:30 in the morning after leaving work because I had to take a coworker home. I worked security, so I was there until the store closed. He was the closer. I took him home afterwards and was going back to my house. Got pulled over by a cop that used the excuse that my taillight was out. He came up to the side, saw me in like my security officer uniform, and was like apologizing, like, "Oh, just coming from work." He's like he knew that I wasn't just a dumb college kid out drinking in the night or whatever.
Yeah.
But his buddy, that like they always travel in pairs, they can catch you. His buddy was on the other side of my car with a flashlight, like looking through my windows, all sketchy. I was like, "Are you kidding me right now? Like, profile much?"
Wow.
Come on.
So yeah, like they never look for what they're supposed to be looking for. They just want to catch something. So if they can pass the blame off on, this case and protect their own, they're going to. It's just, I don't know. We need more accountability on all sides.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
We can go back to like fart jokes and stuff now.
Okay. That's actually the end of this show. We're gonna do the news show next. So if you want to plug your stuff, Justin, go ahead.
I promise the news show will be more positive. There's the Nintendo Direct, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
I am at Zero Score on Twitter and YouTube. I'll leave Twitch off for right now because I haven't decided if I'm going back. Like I said, Final Fantasy IX starts before this goes out, so check out the first 2 episodes of that. Thomas and Ben are in one of those at least. Lo comes in later, but
nice.
He'll be important when he does show up. And I'm in it also, I guess technically. And yeah, like I said, the D&D stream will start next week also. There'll probably be like the what is that called? The archives of those. So I can let you guys know that on Twitter if you want to know where to find it. Sorry, I just opened my mouth a little bit. I probably could have not shared that and been fine, but it's out there now.
The swatting news story was just so disgusting.
It really was.
Lo.
You can find me on Twitter at Nero the Hero, N3R0, THEH3R0. You can also find me on YouTube, Nero the Hero, all with letters. And as usual, you can always find me here with these fine gentlemen.
And you can find me, your host, Thomas, at CSG Thomas on Twitter. You can also find us here at chargeshot.com. You can also email me, Thomas at chargeshot.com. And until then, guys, enjoy your games. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Kiss a ginger.
All right. I'm going to just go right into the other show, starting now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Video Game Newsy News Show. That's an interesting intro. I don't know. I was looking at you. Your beautiful face.
No.
Hey. I want to welcome all of our new listeners over on LFG Radio. If you're listening to us,
shout out.
We're there. This is our first show on here. It feels nice.
Hi.
And it was a strong start too.
That's what editing is for. Yeah, so this is the show where we break down the news that happened over the week and we share it with you lovely people. Joining me today is Justin.
Hi.
And Lo.
That's all I got.
All right.
Howdy.
And you got me, your host, Thomas. So there was actually a pretty cool, exciting Nintendo Direct happened over this past week. A mini Direct.
A Nintendo Direct Mini.
Yes, a mini.
Everyone blew it out of proportion.
I'm just trying to pull up the press release that I got from Nintendo.
Fancy.
Yeah, fancy email.
I've got their site pulled up with all of the like quick links to everything. It was honestly a bigger Direct than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like there was actually a lot of announcements. Considering it was a mini, but there was a lot of like fast announcements. Like here's this thing. I don't know.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
They wanted you to go
13
in
things in 15 minutes.
Wow,
that's crazy.
So I'm just going to go down the press release here. It's not exactly in order of the show, but I figured I'd just scroll down instead of scrolling back up and around. So we got Dark Souls Remastered coming to the Switch. This is kind of just like an up-resed version of Dark Souls.
Are we commenting on these as we go, or just picking out our favorites after you're done? I don't want to interrupt.
I mean, if you guys have anything to talk about Dark Souls, go ahead. I don't think you guys are really that big of fans of the Souls series.
I mean, I'm happy it's coming to Switch, but I'm also afraid there's going to be a lot of broken Switches, so...
Okay.
I'm not going to play it.
That's true.
I was actually more interested in the Dark Souls trilogy, like Japanese bundle that they had. It was super cool. I tweeted out a picture of it. And it's like a trilogy of all the Dark Souls games, and it's also got like books about the lore of Dark Souls, and there's like some really cool stuff about that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
But it's PS4 exclusive.
Yeah, PS4 Japanese only right now. So then we also have Mario Tennis Aces is coming to the Switch.
This I'm actually kind of curious about, because it's the first time there's a story mode in a Mario Tennis game since the Game Boy Color game, and that Game Boy Color game was legit. Like, it's one of the best... I don't want to like overblow it, but it's one of the best Game Boy Color games that came out, like as far as Nintendo games at least. And it got like no love because it was just a tennis game. But like it was made by Camelot. Like before they did Golden Sun, they did this. And it actually feels kind of similar from like an RPG standpoint, because you're walking around, you're talking to people, and then like, you know, whenever you go to the courts, you can play a game of tennis, but there's actually like kind of a full blown like character progression, like go through the game and like do different things and, you know, talk to people and buy stuff. And like, it's a full game that just happens to be a Mario Tennis game. Because you play as just like a guy and then you play against Mario characters. This one, it looks like it's more of a, like a world map. You go from like point to point and do different like boss battles and challenge modes and stuff like that. So it's not quite the same thing, but it's way better than the Mario Tennis game that came out for Wii U. So, you know, I'll take what I can get. But I'm just glad they're putting a little more work into this after the Wii U was like panned for its version. That game sucked.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I don't think I've ever played a Mario Tennis game, but this one seems kind of cool. Like I've been itching to play another tennis game. I think the last one I really enjoyed was like Virtual Tennis 2005 on my 360.
Oh, nice.
That was a pretty good one. So I'm looking forward to playing a new tennis game. Seems like they're putting a lot more into it, like boss battles and different types of missions. A lot of variety. It's coming to the Switch in the spring, so that'll be a cool spring pickup.
Yeah. It's a nice thing, like, it'll sell better when there's not a bunch of other things coming out, so it's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of related. I have a question that's sort of related. Is when was the last Mario soccer game, the Super Strikers or whatever? It's
that
been
Wii?
a while.
That was
hasn't
the Wii.
Yeah.
That was the Wii?
Yeah, Mario Strikers Charged was the Wii.
Yeah.
That game was fun. I hope that you
It
can do one
was.
of
There's
those.
like special abilities for everyone. I would always choose Waluigi because he can create like a rose wall, and so you just like wall people in with the ball, and there's like, "Argh!"
Griefing with Waluigi.
Yeah, like he doesn't really do much. It's just like, haha, and then you run away. Yeah, that game was
very
great.
cool.
Maybe they'll bring back another one if this does well.
Yeah, maybe.
That could be cool.
We also have,
I legit like a lot of the Mario sports games. Like I
they're
played
pretty
the
good.
Mario Golf. I think it was Toadstool Tour on 3DS, and that was really fully featured too. Like it had a full story mode and everything. It was more like objective based, but still, like you're going through a campaign of different things. You like go on the full tour and everything. There was like different mini game modes in there. There was kind of like an objective based mini golf type thing in there. And like some driver ones where you're like trying to hit into specific spots on the map and like the fewest strokes as possible, things like that. And then like I said, the soccer games, the Mario Tennis for Game Boy Color, Mario Hoops, one of my favorites on the DS. Yeah, a lot of great Mario sports games. They haven't made a good one in a while, but maybe they're getting back to it.
Yeah.
speaking of getting back to games, there is a Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze game coming to the Switch. It's going to include Funky Kong.
Funky, 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 funky.
They're also going to include like an easier level or something for beginners to play if it's too hard.
That is basically the funky mode.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah, because usually when you play single player, you have to be Donkey Kong, because like any other character you get rides with him, so they like supplement Donkey Kong. It's only in 2-player mode where you can play as someone else off of Donkey Kong.
Oh.
But with this, it's like the single player is Funky, and his abilities work where he has a double jump, he has a hover, he has infinite rolls, he can like go across spikes without getting hurt. He can like infinite water dash, so like basically you do spirals in the water and like hit enemies and stuff.
Okay.
But it's usually on a cooldown. So it's like he has a lot of kind of conveniences that makes the game easier to play. But you can still actually run through the levels. It's not like the Super Kong or whatever, and the where like if you die so many times you can like hit a thing and like you become invincible. And you just run through the level, but you don't really get credit for it. This is like you can just play through the game as Funky Kong and it's easier.
All right.
Which just kind of excites me because you can also use him in 2-player, and so like I could play this with Brooke, for example, because like she tried to, my wife, for those that don't know, she tried to play the game with me like when it first came out, and just like found it too hard, and so she just hung out on my back all the time. And so like we'd be going across a gap or something with Diddy Kong, and I'd be like, okay, I need the jetpack. She's like, got it, and she would just like activate her jetpack ability, and then we'd go across, and she'd just sit there again. And so I was like, okay, you don't have to play anymore. It's fine. Like you don't get it. But like with Funky, she might actually play as Funky Kong. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's kind of cool from like a a new mode aspect. Plus, it's also just like probably the best Donkey Kong game ever made. So like it needs to get more love than it got on the Wii U. But yeah, that was probably my biggest hype announcement aside from the Kirby release date, which we'll get to in a second. But
yeah, so Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is coming May 4th. Kirby Star Allies, Kirby's debut on Nintendo Switch. Grand new adventure. It says here packed with content. #content. New artist ability lets Kirby unleash his creativity, while the new spider ability lets him ensnare enemies in webs. Kirby also can hurt new friend hearts at enemies. Oh, I guess that meant hurl. They just wrote a typo. There's a typo in
an
this.
official Nintendo press release.
Yeah. To win them over with love and add them to his party. Plus, add up to 4 friends can team up and combine Kirby's unique abilities with ally abilities for powerful new friend abilities. Game launches Nintendo Switch March 16th.
2 days after my birthday.
Nintendo gave you a birthday present. You just have to buy it.
Cool.
I don't know why it's so funny that you just stunned like that.
Oh, you got stuck too?
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right.
Yeah, this game looks super cool. Like, I'm always excited about new Kirby, but they rarely actually deliver. Like the 3DS ones were kind of generic. Kirby's best when you can play it with friends, I think. Like Superstar, where you just kind of create a little buddy and he runs around with you, and then Kirby 64 had that a little bit. The Dreamland games had it a little bit, but Return to Dreamland on the Wii was fantastic, and it was all like 4-player. You just like run around with each other. I think it was like one was Kirby, one was Diddy Kong, one was Meta Knight, I believe, and one was Waddle Dee, which that character kind of got shafted, but whatever. They didn't have a port. And so like each person has like their own form of the abilities, which was kind of cool. So you can like use, you know, their version of it for different things, and it just had some fun multiplayer stuff. You could like get on top of each other and run around, and yeah, that game was a lot of fun. But it's like you kind of need 4 people on couch co-op, I believe, to really do it. Whereas this looks like you can do up to 4 people computers, and like combine abilities and stuff. And so like the way it kind of puts a new twist on like actually, you know, playing together with multiplayer has me really excited, and I'm gonna friggin' love this game. Because Kirby needs to be shared. So yeah. I cannot wait for this. And I didn't expect to be so excited for the new Kirby game when they showed it off at like E3 or whatever last year, but this is gonna be probably the game on the Switch for 2018. Wow, it's a new year. Unless they announce something huge at E3, which I see them probably doing another direct in like March or something to show the rest of the year stuff. But I imagine it's going to be like Fire Emblem and like maybe Shin Megami and like the new Yoshi game, probably some more details about that. I don't see it being anything I really care about. So I think Kirby's going to be my game.
All right. We got another game here that was announced for the Switch was The World Ends With You Final Remix, which is such a weird game for them to put on the Switch. Yeah, it's a game that came out in 2008 on the DS, and then it got ported to phones for a while.
Which this is that version.
This is actually a new version. It has HD visuals and a new epilogue to it.
Well, I just mean like it's based on that version, like because it was originally a DS game, which meant it was dual screen.
Yeah. So
it's like you would actually have 2 things going on at the same time. It's like the top screen, I think, was like different button combos, and the bottom screen was like tapping and sliding and touchscreen battles, and they would be happening at the same time. Yeah. So you'd be alternating between like doing these button combinations and then like tapping stuff on the bottom screen when it shifted. On the mobile version, they made it all one screen, but it just kind of alternates between those different things. So you're like, you're doing different like slides and taps and stuff. And it's more of a rhythm game on that. I think with the Switch version, it's taking that same idea, but adding some of the button presses back in, or you can use the touch screen. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. It's still the single screen as opposed to the dual screen that the DS had it, obviously. So it's based on that, just an HD version of it.
This game is scheduled to launch this year. This is probably, out of everything they announced, the most exciting thing for me. But I'm probably not going to get it right away. Probably just wait on that one for a while. I don't know. I don't have the need to get it right away. I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing the new epilogue. I was hooked on this game on the DS when it first came out.
Really?
Yeah, like I really enjoyed the story in that game. Like the story is that there's these like teenagers who are in like some kind of alternate world, and you find out the secrets to that world later on. I don't know if it's right away. I can't remember. But essentially, there's a countdown timer. You have to do a mission. If you don't do the mission, you're fucked. And you kind of learn like what that world's all about later on in the game. We also have Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition coming to the Switch.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to steamroll over this, but I'm going to stop you anyway.
Okay. I would steamroll like through 90% of this thing, but go ahead.
Well, it's Nintendo Direct. Give me my moment. Dang it.
Yeah, you're the Nintendo guy. We will give you your moments.
I have one thing that I bring to this show. Two things: my Sparks personality and Nintendo facts, and stuttering apparently. So 3 things. But no, this is basically the Wii U and 3DS versions combined, which is the only reason I care. Because after they released the Wii U version and all its DLC, which I had all of, they put that essentially as Hyrule Warriors 3DS on the 3DS. So it had all of the Wii U and DLC content like on the cartridge to start on 3DS. And then also had a new season pass of stuff that you couldn't get on the Wii U unless you bought the 3DS version and put in a code that transferred the 3DS exclusive stuff to the Wii U version.
Wow.
Which was dumb. They should have just released another season pass for the Wii U that had that stuff on it. So like there was some Wind Waker and Link's Awakening and I forget the other group of characters, but there was other game characters brought in to that version exclusively. And I think they also had actually some new story mode stuff in there. Like because the main story kind of goes through like dimensional rifts of the different games. And I believe it expanded on that in a way that the Wii U version didn't have. So it's, instead of just having more characters to play as, it actually had like a bigger story in it. And I really enjoyed that story mode. So like, if this is basically bringing all of that stuff to the Switch, plus it has actual split screen multiplayer on it, instead of shoehorning one person onto the Wii U gamepad, like my brother and I tried to play this game quite a bit. Actually, we really wanted to play it together, but neither of us wanted to be on the gamepad. It wasn't fun. And it chugged the frame rate of both. So if they can actually get like just 30 frames a second, that's all I ask for. 30 frames a second, split screen on the Switch, I'm sold. Like even without the new characters, I'd still be sold. But the fact that it has all of that content that I just didn't play because I refused to buy another version of the game just to get more content onto my version that I already owned. But I will now because it's on the Switch.
You're just going to buy another version of the game.
Yeah, but if I had bought the 3DS version, then I still would have bought this version. So, in my defense,
all right, just gonna shake my head. We got SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy coming to the Switch. It's a new game. It's launching on the Switch this summer. It's basically like the chick game, the chick fighting game from NSK. And that looked really like Japanese, like deprivation of women. Like it was pretty bad.
Yeah, and it's a 3D fighter, so I probably won't even play that well. It's literally just going to be like I always want to say jizzle physics, a jiggle physics game with some okay fighting mechanics.
That's the SNK Heroes version.
Yeah. You actually just button mash to like wank it faster.
Oh god.
You don't even there's no buttons to move. You just have a coin between you. And you're trying to never mind. I'm not gonna go into it. You understand.
Okay, with that, we also have the announcement of ACA Neo Geo Art of Fighting 2 launched on the Switch as well. You can get that today if you like.
And the Neo Geo Classics.
Yeah.
Nice.
We got Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. I've talked about it on the show. It's not really worth getting into, in my opinion. It's kind of like...
unless they fix the localization.
The localization was so bad. They were supposed to. I need to get back into it to see what it is. I'm probably going to launch my review around the release of this, which is coming in the summer. Yeah, I don't think it's a high quality product. They also have
But it is another JRPG on the Switch, so there's that. Like if you're hurting for a JRPG,
yeah,
maybe
it's a JRPG as JRPG.
Yeah.
We got Payday 2.
Stick to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Sorry.
We got Payday 2 coming. If you missed out on the event that was Payday 2 on the PC, you can try it out on the Switch. I have no idea what quality it's going to be like. It's coming out February 27th. It has LED masks. There's a new character named Joy. She just has LED masks for her crew.
Which are kind of cool. It's just cool that this type of game is being put on there. Like, it kind of reminds me of the days of like James Bond on GameCube.
Or like Doom on the N64. Like, it's so weird. We also have Faye. We got to see a little bit more of Faye. They say that they're going to be using the HD Rumble for it.
The game still looks great.
Yeah, looks cool. I want to see what that's about. It's coming out on February 16th. We also have Celeste.
And Celeste.
Yeah.
It's from the guys that made Towerfall, so it's probably gonna play similar to that, but in like a single player adventure fashion, and that's okay with me because Towerfall plays really great.
Yeah, I haven't played Towerfall. Celeste looks cool, but I need to hear from some people if it's good or not before I take the plunge.
Yeah.
It's coming out January 25th, so this month. Real soon.
Maybe I'll grab it. I've got like $5 of credit on the eShop.
Nice. And with that, we also have a couple of updates to existing games, such as Super Mario Odyssey. When I first saw Luigi with the balloon pack, I immediately thought Balloon Fight. I'm like, oh shit, they're bringing Balloon Fight to Super Mario Odyssey. Like, that would be super cool with Mario characters. But then I got severely disappointed when it was just kind of like a go hide and seek update.
Yeah. It's a waste of including Luigi, that's for sure. That could have been anyone.
It really could have.
It sounds like it's more for speedrunners. Like, you know, people that know the maps really well can just run around, do all their cool flips and stuff. It's like, boom, got your balloon faster. Because, I mean, there's all, like, the leaderboards for, like, the races and the jump rope and stuff like that. So, like, there is a huge contingency of people that just want to, like, speedrun parts of this game. And I see them really liking this mode.
Yeah,
so I'm not knocking it. I just wish it wasn't Luigi because I want him to actually be in the game.
Yeah, this is actually the only multiplayer. They said in the release it's like the only quote unquote multiplayer for this game, because what you're doing is you're just hiding a balloon somewhere, and then the other side is fighting the balloon. They also included new snapshot mode filters and new outfits. Do you like any of the new outfits?
No, they're pretty generic. A few of the new snapshot filters look pretty cool, though.
Yeah, there was like a neon one I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looked pretty cool. Yeah, I'm more excited about that than hiding balloons. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is getting a new update. New hero springs into action. Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Right.
He looks like he's going to be fun to play. He had like a boomerang banana.
Rad.
And it's in a new world. Like, it sounds like it's going to basically be like a world 8, or I actually think it ends with 8.
Oh.
Like an extra world. The point is like that's based off of Donkey Kong's country.
The DK world.
What is his place called? Yeah.
It's the Donkey Kong country.
Well, I'm trying to think of like DK4. I think it's Donkey Island actually. I don't know. It's based off that.
Yeah.
It had like those trees and everything.
Yeah, this Donkey Kong DLC pack is going to release in the spring, and it's part of the Season Pass and Gold Edition if you bought that. Pokémon Tournament DX got a new battle pack. I assume new Pokemon avatar items.
Yes. It's 2 packs.
I don't care about Pokemon.
It's still your job to know the news.
I can just skip over it.
You didn't watch the direct?
Oh, I watched it, but like I didn't take notes.
All right, I'm not actually. I haven't pulled up any of these stories. I just remember it because I'm a good fan. The first pack includes a playable character Aegislash, which is like that Sword and Shield Pokemon from Gen 7, I believe. And then 2 support Pokemon, which are Mega Rayquaza and Mimikyu. They're like the Pikachu wannabe from Gen 8. And then the second pack includes... The second pack includes playable Blastoise, which they didn't actually show him off because I think that's a little later out. I think the first pack is like end of January. The second pack is sometime in March, so they might not have him in full playable form yet. They just showed like a picture of him. But I think Blastoise is going to be really fun to play as. Of course, a character that's a living sword is going to be pretty cool, but I want to see Blastoise in action. And then that includes the support Pokemon Melodic and I forgot. Dang it.
You're such
Melodic.
a good fan.
Shut up. Oh no, it's not. It's not. It's Mew and Celebi. That's right.
All right.
I couldn't find it in the video, but it just popped in my head. But no, real quick, like this is kind of crap to me. Because this is the deluxe version of Pokken Tournament that was on the Wii U, and before that an arcade. The Wii U already had a few new exclusive characters from the arcade, like that weren't in the arcade version, for its kind of first like home release or whatever. And then it had a full DLC run that brought in like 3 or 4 new characters, I think, since then. I didn't get the game, so I don't know exactly, but I remember hearing about it. And then now they re-released it on Switch with all of that DLC, like all of the original characters, plus 2 new characters that weren't in the Wii U version. And now they're still releasing DLC for the game. It's like you'd think the deluxe version would be like everything in it. But now they're still releasing new content for it. So that seems a little unfair.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm also the same person that said I wouldn't have minded DLC stuff for Mario Kart Deluxe on Switch, so I can't really say anything, but this has had multiple releases now, and it feels like they keep adding more stuff for each one and then still releasing DLC on top of that. It's just kind of strange. I don't know. Because will there ever be like a definitive edition that you don't have to pay extra for?
It's the Ultra version.
Right. Is this a friggin' like Capcom fighting game now?
It is.
Yeah. I hope that's not what it's turning into. It looks like that's what it's turning into, though.
Yeah, just a little weird. I don't know. But they look like good characters, so I also can't complain. So.
All right, and the last 2 stories is that Kirby Battle Royale has a demo on the eShop, and so does Dragon Quest Builders. If you're into
Right,
that.
I was trying to remember what the other demo was. That's what it was. Because I was looking on the Switch and I couldn't find it, but that's a 3DS game.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's your
I might check that
Nintendo.
out.
There's your Nintendo news. Like I said, I was only interested in like one of those or 2 of those announcements.
Well, I was interested in almost all of them.
I know you
so.
were.
But I still stand by. I want this on record. I think there's going to be a proper direct in March, like probably around the 1-year anniversary of the Switch. That's going to be like a big, like kind of their like mini E3 presentation that lays out all the bigger stuff for the rest of the year. Yeah. This being a mini that just dropped like on a random day means it's probably the stuff they're trying to get out of the way. That's, you know, just like from now until, well, a few of it's like in May and stuff, but from now through March. So it's just like it tides people over until the big direct comes out that actually explains like, you know, what's going on with all these other games they announced last year and just kind of briefly showed. Like maybe we'll get a bigger trailer for Metroid. You know, we'll probably see Fire Emblem with the release date because that's supposed to be 2018. Stuff like that.
Maybe a full-fledged Pokemon trailer or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It sounds like they're really putting the push onto the Pokemon company to get that game made.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just a mini. Like this wasn't like what we have for the whole year. We're gonna get that later on in the year. It's just like if all you saw was this, like I would be kind of disappointed from this. But I know they're gonna do something else.
Right, and like I said, I still thought this was bigger than it could have been.
Yeah.
Like I didn't expect half that stuff.
Yeah, World Ends With You was really surprising. Came out of nowhere.
I figured we'd get like more info on Kirby. I kind of assumed we'd get at least one more Wii U port, and I'm glad it was Donkey Kong. And then like some indie news or something, and that would be about it. So yeah, it blew me out of the water still.
Do you remember about the Detective Pikachu game that was out in Japan and everyone was freaking out over it? Well, now it's coming to America.
I don't even know what this game is.
It's being released on the 3DS along with the actual new amiibo for Pikachu, which kind of looks pretty cool.
And it's huge.
I think it's pretty sweet actually. So I don't know. I I kind of want to collect amiibos just because they're cool, but I don't have any shelf space for it.
I kind of stopped. There hasn't been a good one in a while.
Yeah.
Just build more shelves.
He's already built them for his cats.
No, yeah, like I've got plenty of shelves. I just haven't had an amiibo I wanted to get in a while.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was talking to Thomas. He said he didn't have enough shelf space.
Oh.
Build more
Yeah,
shelves.
I need more room space first.
Build more room.
Yeah, build more room. Just take over the neighbors.
Okay, so I'm watching the trailer for this game.
Yeah.
And the actual Detective Pikachu in the game is not nearly like the size of the amiibo. Like he's basically the same size as regular Pikachu.
Yeah.
He just has a hat on.
Yeah.
But for some reason the amiibo is huge compared to the Pikachu amiibo. I don't understand.
I don't know either.
But I already knew that because Ryan Reynolds is going to be voicing him.
Sad.
Yes.
It's basically like a Professor Layton game with Pokemon in it. And like some QuickTime events, it looks like. This is so weird.
Also, along with the game, they're releasing a new 2DS XL that's just Pikachu's face. Did you see
Eat it
that?
up.
It's really creepy looking.
Yeah.
I know how much you hate Pikachu, but I think Pikachu.
This is not the first Pikachu themed system that they've put out either.
No, of course not.
Like there's been another I don't remember what it was. It was another Pikachu 3DS, I think.
They've been making them ever since the Game Boy, like the original Game Boy.
Like,
They made like a Game Boy Yellow.
Colors?
Yeah, it's like Pikachu's body basically. And then there was also
That Pikachu is so hot right now.
there was two Pikachu 3DSs. One is like his body on the top, and then like the tail sticks out a little bit on the bottom. And then the other one is basically just like his body cut in half, with like some designs around the edges.
Huh.
Third Pikachu, well, 3DS family. Wait, fourth? Fourth Pikachu 3DS family. I think one was Japan only, though. At least one was Japan only. Yeah, that's absurd. Stop sucking Pikachu's dick, everyone. He can talk about it now, and that's unsettling.
He's very cute, except for that weird voice he has, which is kind of cool. All right, moving on. We've got another news story here about Sega. Actually, I didn't put this in the show notes, but Sega announced something earlier today. They teased the announcement.
Sega had something to announce.
Well, they teased the announcement for next week, but people are assuming that it's going to be a Theme Hospital game.
A what?
Theme Hospital. You ever play Theme Hospital?
I've never heard of that.
Hospital.
Basically, it was like a sim game where you just manage a hospital, but it was like a wacky hospital thing. It was kind of cool. Like my cousins and I would always play it when I was over at his place. But like that would be kind of cool to see a new Theme Hospital. And they have like 2 Point said that they were going to make something like they're going to announce something on January 16th. I guess they're in relation to Theme Hospital, so she's
Interesting.
so I'm kind of interested to see if that is going to be Theme Hospital.
I was a rambling fanboy.
I'm not a fanboy though.
Just saying. Looks like the shoe is on the other failing console now.
Sega has there's some Sega games that are weirdly popular. Like I think like Football Manager is like super popular for some reason.
Yeah,
and
it's
just one of those games that I would never play. So it's like I don't know. I guess I'll never really know how great it actually is.
I mean, it's a management sim, so if you're not into management sims, you probably wouldn't be interested in it.
Right. Yeah. I think they've had a few though, which is, I mean, I guess it's not that weird. But I just remember when I used to get the Dreamcast magazine, there was always like, oh, this is releasing in Japan. I'm like, okay, it's another sim game. This one it's a train sim. I'm like, okay, cool. Where's the Sonic stuff?
We also have an announcement from CES. HTC announces a Vive Pro. They're going to have the screens to be OLED and increase 78% of its resolution from the current generation. So new VR headsets are coming out. I was actually looking at some VR headsets like last week, and prices are still super high. It's like $800 for a Vive.
Yeah.
There are some cheaper ones, but usually by the time you actually get all the stuff for them, it's still up there in that price.
I heard that.
Oh, right.
I heard that there's like a third-party company that's trying to do like the wireless headsets. Like they're trying to make an adapter or something, so you don't have to deal with the wires. So.
Well, that's the main reason I put this story in here is because like on top of the new Vive, it also says that they have a wireless adapter.
Yeah.
That you can buy separately, so it works with the Pro or the old school Vive.
Yeah.
And it has low latency and high quality. So it's the first time they've actually had a wireless adapter or wireless technology of any kind that doesn't like drastically affect what you see. Because for a while, like the screen tearing was so bad that it ruins the experience. So they just there was no point in putting out wireless VR because like it would really affect that. I forget what it's called. Basically, like the thing that makes you want to like think you're falling over in VR.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. So I think that's really cool just from a technology standpoint because it means they're getting closer to actual like viable wireless VR that's not mobile. And that's the only time I'm going to care about VR. So maybe we're almost there.
Yeah. Everything eventually goes wireless.
Yep.
All right. Another news story we have is Xbox achievement system. They were talking about rehauling the achievement system before. To make it a little bit more worthwhile for people that play a single game like a lot. So for people that play like, I don't know, Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty or Destiny a lot. Completing achievements will contribute towards your gamer tags leveling up rewards. Players with loot boxes containing so they're introducing loot boxes. For the achievements that you get.
But do you remember when they said they were bringing back avatars, or like they were making them more important again?
Yeah, so they're containing cosmetic items for your avatars.
Right. So I think this is part of that process of like making avatars a big deal again.
Yeah,
it's like actually tying them into your progress in games and stuff like that, like giving you incentive to care about them.
Yeah,
could be cool. I don't know. They
need
games first.
Yeah, could be.
They still have their avatars. You can still edit them and stuff. I just don't ever look at them.
Right, because they're buried away in nothingness.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing about the avatars was 1 versus 100, because like you could see everyone's avatars in the crowd and like playing the game, so that actually made them feel like they were actually like meant something, because that's like your actual online character that you would play in these games. So if they bring stuff like that to the Xbox One, that'd be kind of cool. Like
there were a few games that pulled your avatar into them. They weren't very good, but
mostly Connect games. Yeah. But like if it was something cool like 1 versus 100 or whatever else they have planned, that'd be kind of neat. Yeah. You can still make Miis on the Switch, so that kind of idea of avatars isn't going away. It's just dormant, hiding, waiting to come back. Strangle us with their blank
Revenge
faces.
of the Avatars.
Yeah. Okay, and I think we didn't talk about this last week. There's a couple of stories I missed last week. One of them was the Transformers games. They were actually pulled down from online stores such as PlayStation 4 and Steam. It's basically almost all the Transformer games that Activision published, because they no longer have, like, they're suspecting that they no longer have the license to publish those games. I was actually streaming some Transformers over the past week, like saying, "Hey, you can't buy this game anymore."
But they don't pull it from your library, right?
No, you can still download it and buy and play it, but you just can't buy it anymore.
Because I think that would be weird. Like if they actually like yanked them from like you being able to own them, so it's like you paid for something that you can no longer play.
That's the fear of digital content.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of happened already with things like Marvel Heroes, where the servers shut down, so you can own the game if you want.
Yeah.
But I mean,
right.
Oh yeah, it's happened multiple times before. It's just, when it's a bigger publisher like the Activision or something, it's a bigger deal.
Mm-hmm.
We also have that other thing about Intel. Lo, do you know more about this, right? Where the Intel had like a security feature or something?
Yeah, there were two major security flaws. There was Meltdown and Spectre.
Yeah.
And so this story was pretty confusing when it first came out, because it first came out and then there was like, oh, Intel has this major security flaw, and then like AMD doesn't. But then there was like this other thing. It was like, no, this security flaw affects everything. But then there was another story that came out that's like, no, there's two separate ones. One affects Intel, and then the other one affects everything. So I believe Meltdown's the one that is the security flaw with the Intel CPUs, and then Spectre is the one that affects Intel, AMD, and ARM CPUs, I believe. So I'm not insanely techie. So basically it was just a security flaw, and it basically made it to where like regular programs can like access a level, like something in the kernel, which is something you shouldn't be able to normally access. So it just basically made it easier for people to hack you and stuff like that. And there was...
If I can interrupt real quick, just to kind of give a little more clarity on it. I was listening to The Verge because they kind of did a deep dive of this topic. I wanted to know more about it. And essentially the way it works is the way that modern CPUs work is they'll do multiple processes at once. And if it's something they're not supposed to access, so like let's say, like you log into your Netflix or something, it'll have that information on hand at all times. But if it's not an authorized access, then it'll essentially do the login and the stop at the same time. So it processes all options of a decision at the same time, so it can work through those faster. But it discards all the ones that you don't want to happen. So it only actually activates the one thing that you want to happen, if that makes sense.
Right,
so it's kind of like if you're in a house of mirrors, you see all these different versions of yourself, but only one of them is the correct way to go through the house of mirrors. All the others are fake. So it's if you think of it that way, it's like there's only one actual path it takes, but it does all of them simultaneously so that it can process that one action faster. So the way that's actually a pretty good analogy.
No, out of everything that I've like read and seen, like the way you explained it just now made the absolute most sense to me. So
yeah, well, The Verge got caught up in weird metaphors, and I'm like, that word, they use that anyway. I don't work for The Verge. But yeah, so basically the way that these hacks work is that they take all of those possible options and have access to any of them. So they could see, your login, your Netflix login, for example, even though you go the option that says don't give them access, they still see all of the other options. So they're basically going in through the back door and seeing everything instead of just the door that you actually access. So that's what makes it so risky, is because there's no way to stop it, because the only way to do that is to roll back how CPUs work, which will actually, the way that is it goes back to a few generations ago when CPU processes were about 11% slower than they are now on the software side. Because it's similar to the whole Apple thing where, they're slowing down older versions of iPhones to get better battery life out of them at the software level. It's similar to that. It's like they figured out software side, they can get more performance out of it by doing all of those processes at the same time and discarding the ones you don't use. So they can roll that back and kill that exploit temporarily. Obviously, they need to figure it out so they can get that exploit back and make things faster. But it's like, who would want to sacrifice 11% speed on the things that they're supposed to be getting power out of? It's not great. There's no real good way to do this. So they've had temporary fixes of like, okay, this is how they're getting in now. We'll just stop that. But it'd be pretty easy to go around that. So like the hackers are working faster than the fixes are. And really, the only permanent rollback is to stop the way that they're doing things now and make everything slower. So continue now. I just wanted to give that clarification.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much that pretty much covers the rest of everything else. There has since been an update for Windows 10 that is supposed to remedy this. However, there was a bunch of numbers flying around on the internet. Some people said as little as 5%, and then I heard 30%. It's like, and some people was like 50%. Like, and then, well, I had the update and I didn't notice anything like crazy different. So I mean. Well, actually, no. There was a few programs will chug a little bit, but it's usually like when I'm rendering or something like that, which I usually just go off and do something else anyways. So other than that, yeah, exactly. And I mean, other than that, like my gaming hasn't really been affected. And there was something I'd read that was saying like, for the most part, just your average everyday user probably most likely won't be affected. It's like the bigger data centers and the servers and stuff like that that are gonna see like major performance hits and whatnot. So,
but that's a big deal.
Yeah,
yeah,
that will affect a lot of people.
It's a very big deal. Yeah,
yeah.
So hey, it gives actually no, I don't know. It's just gonna be interesting moving forward, just to first of all, just to see how they deal with this, and second of all, just to see if it's gonna mean a major shift in how CPU architecture is architected.
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
It's the biggest hardware level hack that's ever happened, and it's dangerous in a way that's never been possible before. So I'm trying to keep it, I want to understand it and know what's happening minute to minute, because this is affecting everyone. It's a big deal. Again, it's not going to have a huge impact on the consumer level, but this is right up there with the Experian hack that a lot of information got out there. It's the same thing could happen here.
Exactly.
If you think about it, having access to every possible option of things that computers can do at any given moment. It's anything you do and discard, it still sees all of those discarded versions.
Yeah.
Think about opening an incognito window and doing something. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's very unsecure in that way. And like I said, there's not really any way to fix it except to change how CPUs process things. Again.
Man.
Some interesting times. It's gonna be an interesting year, guys.
Yeah.
2018.
Welcome to 2018.
Right?
The year where we burn it all down.
I wish.
Or blow it up. No.
Yeah.
One of the two.
So, never been a better time to be a PC gamer.
Screw you, Will. I'll just be playing my Switch. I'm just connected to power. That's actually something funny I saw. Is just wait for a nuclear holocaust when all of the power goes out. At least you can still play your Switch for a few hours.
That's true. If you have one of those battery power pack things that charges from the sun, you can theoretically
oh yeah, true,
have it last longer. Yeah,
just throw solar panels onto your Switch.
That could be a cool mod.
Yeah.
Solar Switch. Switch solar. I don't know. I'll stop.
Justin, where can we find you playing your Switch?
At my home usually. I don't get out much. I am at Zero Score on Twitter and YouTube and whatnot. Whatnot's not a site; it's just everywhere else.
Whatnot.com.
I did start a Reddit up again, so I'm also Zero Score on Reddit. But yeah, on YouTube I've got the Final Fantasy IX story play starting soon, which we're all a part of. So that's exciting stuff. Check that out for sure, especially if you like game like I do. But yeah, go ahead and move on.
Lo, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Nero the Hero, N3R0, THEH3R0. You can also find me on YouTube at Nero the Hero, not at Nero the Hero, just Nero the Hero with letters. And as always, every week you can find me here on Charge Shot with these fine gentlemen.
And you can find me, your host, Thomas, on Twitter at CSG Thomas. You can also check us all out here at charshot.com. We got some new videos, quick looks, or quick shots, rather. You guys did Rivals of Aether? That's the right
Yes.
one. Yes.
Rivals of Aether, yeah.
I thought Aether was the word I was going to get in trouble.
No, it's just like regular words. Made up words I'm
Just
fine
me.
with. You can also check us out, or you can also email me at thomas@charshot.com.
It's late, everyone. Give him a break.
Yeah. Until then, guys, enjoy your games. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Get that off. And